In the middle of the swiggle session, I said to him, I think we're never going to see each other again after this. What's hey, bestie? We have not sat down and checked on each other's edges in quite a while. And if I'm going to keep it real with y'all, because that's my bestie, I'm always keep it real. I definitely kind of dial back on these because they really just don't perform well. Until last week, one of my really good friends from high school messaged me, and God just know how to give you what you need. And she was like, I ran across one of your videos and, you know, it really helped me. She was like, you don't even understand. You just be talking and doing what's you and naturally you. And it blesses people in the progress because sometimes you feel alone when you're going through your storm. And it just gave me so much confidence to continue to show up. And the way that it blessed me was I've been in this state of like, just kind of questioning everything that I'm doing and the way that I'm showing up and just kind of not really operating in my fullest self because I just feel kind of confused. And a lot of that comes from my social media consumption and beginning to compare myself to what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? You see the girls taking the trips. You see the girls at the brand events. You see the girls really living their best life on social media, or you see these sound bites. That's really the highlight reel of somebody's life. And then without even knowing it, that doubt starts to whisper in your ear, and it's like, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not talented enough. You know, you a bigger girl, so maybe you just not what the world is ready for. And without even realizing that, and me being somebody who can tell y'all that I was never a person who compared myself to what the next man had going on, because I really don't care. And I don't know the full ins and out of your journey. I don't know what you're dealing with behind the scenes, because this highlight reel might look good, but behind the scenes, you might be dealing with a drug addiction. You might be dealing with a man that's, you know, not kind to you. You might just be a nasty ass person. You know what I'm saying? And not even, and so I've always just been a person who beats to their own drum and like drives on their own highway. So to be here to where like now I am comparing myself to other people without even realizing that's what I was doing is crazy, because it really is been affecting me. And I'm talking about affecting me so much so that like typically I am a girl who journals daily, and my Aquarius has been in full swing, and I've just been like, girl, I don't even feel like journaling. And usually I can just journal even when I don't feel like doing it, but I just have not been doing it. So today I sat down, I made me a cup of coffee. I'm actually on my second cup of coffee because failure is not an option. And I picked up my journal. I picked her up because this girl, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, I suggest you find out. I'll link it at the bottom. And if it's not, or you have another journal that you love, then let me know, like, what are the girls using to journal? I have this journal, and then I have just a regular journal, like a regular just composition journal that I write kind of freely in. But this journal, it just has been really helping me because it's 100 days of believing bigger. So to show y'all how God works, I cracked that girl open today. Let me see if I can show it to y'all without showing y'all my, look at that. Comparison. I can't make it up. This is literally the prompt for today. The last prompt was isolation. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but it's just like God had been trying to like help me out of it without me even realizing what it was that he was helping me out of. So while I am somebody who is heavily rooted in my faith, when I am in a state of like confusion like this, I lean into it even harder because I'm trying not to let, you know, what the devil says about me take root or take dominion over my world and how I show up. So I'm writing, you know what I mean? And so I decide, let me turn on a church service too, just to really feel surrounded in just positive energy. And I get on YouTube, and this is what's up. And I don't care what nobody say about Sarah, but baby, listen, when it comes to the way the Lord uses her, he uses her. He literally speaks through her. And the way that he typed up a text message and sent it to this woman to read me down for filth. And I'm not even mad about it. Whatsoever. Y'all, I turned this service on, and she's talking about I'm so sorry, and I promise myself not to be a girl who cries on the internet, but I just feel, I don't want to cry on the internet, but ooh, it's really just speaking to my spirit, which is why I wanted to come to y'all. So Sarah speaks about in this service how God uses patterns to create the world. So first he announced it, then he executed it, then he evaluated it, and then he said it was good. So she talks about how God has a pattern of working on things until it gets to good. So even in your life, if right now you are not in a place that is good, it does not mean that God can't continue to work with you until it gets to good. Then she snatched my edges a little further, and she talks about how the devil also uses a system to keep you from operating in the full glory that God has for you. And his system, he uses where you start to question yourself, and then from questioning yourself, you start to get into a state of confusion, and then it moves into a state of execution, and then from your state of execution, you move into isolation. And did I not just explain to y'all that that has literally been the system that I have been operating in without even realizing it? Without even realizing that, like, legitimately, I have been operating not only between both systems, but I've been operating more so in the enemy's pattern than operating in the pattern that God has for me. Anybody who tell you that they operate all the time in the pattern that God has for you, they are lying. That is fake holier than thou energy, and it's a lie. Most of us operate torn between two systems because, you know, not to turn this into a Bible study, but when Eve ate the apple, she brought sin into the world. So we're constantly in this state of good versus bad. You know what I'm saying? It's about the covenant that you stand in with God. Because even in the midst of my confusion, even in the midst of me literally operating in a state of questioning everything that I'm doing, feeling confused about if I'm even supposed to be doing this, literally like executing content, but executing content from a place of pure insecurity. So I'm not even showing up as my fullest self. And now I've started to isolate and pull away from the things that bring me so much joy, the things that I feel called to do. And God saw me in that and pulled me out of it. And so that's the beautiful thing about standing in covenant with God and understanding that even when you are in the cycle of like your most confused state and you just can't seem to figure out how to pull yourself out of it, you have to go back to the source. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I knew that I needed to do. I knew that I needed to take a second, and with all the noise that's going on in my head, I needed to just sit down, sit quiet with God, and really just know that he heard everything that's been in my heart lately, everything that has been troubling me. Like, I really, when I tell y'all, I have genuinely been considering giving up on social media, and it's because I felt so insecure about everything that I was doing. I just feel like it's not enough. It's not enough. And the things that you give energy to, the things that you feed is what you give life to. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we get in this world, and when your finances are not right, you know, when everything feels like it's crumbling around you, life is life, and them kids is bad, that man ain't shit. When all of this is going on, it's so easy to get caught up in all of that and fall into that pattern. And like, the devil is in there doing his biggest one, because he's not really powerful enough to stop you, but he can use confusion and like these sneaky little tactics to make you stop you. When I tell y'all, I just knew that I had to come and talk to y'all and talk to my besties and really like not only let y'all know what I have going on and what's been in my heart and what I've been working through, but also just speak to you, because Life is life, and for everybody right now, it's probably somebody watching this who has a dream and really wants to follow it. And it doesn't have to be content creation. And you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that. It could be you want to be an artist, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a nurse, you want to be something, but you just don't feel qualified. And it's like, understand that God can use you right where you are. And not only can he use you right where you are, but he can use you in a way that whatever you've been through, whatever insecurities you have, it don't even show. It's not a damn stain on you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's what I had to remember today. Right now, my life is not perfect. My life is not ideal. My life is not an Instagram reel. That is what this diamond season is. This diamond season is about, while I am in a season of pressure, while I am in a season of not being the most refined version of myself, I am striving to become the version of myself that God calls for me. It's not even about me. It's about being able to be used for what God has for me, and so that he can shine through me. That's what this diamond season is about. And as long as I follow him, and not follow him in a sense of like, oh, I'm just a cute little Christian girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about follow him and let him use me to his fullest capacity. Even when I don't feel qualified, even when the rooms that he's trying to get me to walk in feel like they are too big for me, what I know is he's going to protect me and equip me with everything I need in every level that I'm trying to reach. God is going to elevate me to be able to walk in that room the way that he calls for me. And not only is he going to do it for me, he going to do it for you. He's gonna do it for you, because as your bestie, I'ma always sit down, and while we can kiki and laugh together and bullshit together, we can have these conversations too. We can have the hard conversations, the ugly conversations, the conversations that social media will make you feel like don't need to happen because everything is perfect. I wake up and my lashes are full, my face isn't crusty, my skin is moisturized. That shit ain't real. But you know what is real? You and me. We're real. We're some real bitches. We're some real girls. You understand? And what we are really here to do, the greatness that we are really called for, is really real. And it's really called to you and written to you from heaven. And you're going to execute it. You're going to get out of that. And that's okay, because guess what? Even when we move in 2 steps forwards, it's still going to be times when the devil going to try to come sneak his little sneaky ass in and confuse you and make you question yourself. But now you understand who's pulling the strings. So now when you start to feel that confusion creep in, that self-doubt creep in, and before you start to fall into that pattern, you just got to take a second. Whatever you do to reset yourself, it's imperative that you do it. You got to find something, some kind of way to snap yourself back. You just have to. And you have to do that religiously. So for me, it's journaling, it's listening to scripture, it's checking in on myself. But that didn't come overnight. That came from last year. I suffered, oh my God, I don't even really want to get all the way into it, but long story short, I was on and off with this dude for 7 years. And fuck it, I'm gonna just get into it. I was on and off with this dude for 7 years, and I loved him. I loved him with the fullest of me, and he would never really pour into me the way that I was pouring into him. But we met each other right after my dad died, and I kind of trauma bond to him. So even though he wasn't giving me the full amount of what I was giving him, I was so empty from life and like just being a big girl and really feeling insecure and not my prettiest self, because yeah, I could get the niggas, but the niggas wasn't staying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could pull something, but at the end of the day, it like after my experience was done, I was feeling used and just all of these things. And then I found this guy and he saw me and I was so pretty to him, and we built this beautiful friendship. And then that friendship naturally turned into like this relationship, and it was so beautiful. But then these like little red flags started kind of showing themselves. But I was so broken that I was willing to look past those red flags to just be with him, because even if I was giving him 50% and he was only giving me 25, that 25 felt like 125. So this was the pattern because I was operating in brokenness for so long. But then as life started to go on and as our relationship started to, carry on, I'm starting to notice these patterns. And I'm starting to be like, man, like, what's the deal? And when I would bring it up to him, he would heavily gaslight me. And while for a little while it worked and I was questioning myself, and it's like, yeah, girl, it's you tripping. One thing about God ain't never played about me. Even when I play about myself, he ain't never played about me. So he was always like, girl, you know better. You know you're not tripping. You know what I mean? And so what was happening was I was slowly starting to, you see what I'm saying? Like God was slowly starting to pull me back. So now I could see the picture from sometimes them steps back. Sometimes them 10 steps back, them 12 steps back are necessary because it gives you the ability to see the full picture so you know how to move forward and operate forward. And that's basically what God was doing. Is my nose running? Oh my God. I'm over here trying to be deep and my nose is snotty. Girl, please. But anyway, so, they, and that's just what it was. And so as time goes on, I just kind of naturally got tired of just dealing with a bullshit nigga. But I wasn't all the way tired because it's saying that you tired, but you still doing it, which means you're not really tired. My heart is getting tired. My head is not tired. We still dealing with each other. A situation occurs between us where this nigga really show his colors. Oh, bitch, he showed his colors. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that was the moment, that was the like, you know what I'm saying? To where I was like, oh, when you dating somebody and they just like the finest person you ever met, but then you start to get in that place where you know that the breakup is coming, you know that you've kind of elevated past what this relationship is and it's not serving you anymore. So that person starts to get ugly to you. That's what was happening. He was starting to get ugly to me. So we stopped talking for a while. And then just one night of being lonely, because that was, I cannot believe that I'm spilling my heart out to y'all like this, but genuinely it was like, you look lonely. I can fix that. And that's kind of what it was like, it was one night where I was definitely like a lonely drunk girl. And I called him, and what he would do is like when we would have like a really bad fallout, we would stop talking for a while. He would just stay ghost because he kind of knew that like eventually I would show back up. And so I would show back up, and I text him one night, told him to pull up. He pulls up, and y'all, we're like having one of the best swiggle sessions that we've ever had. And I know that's TMI. I'm so sorry. But we are. And like literally in the middle of the swiggle session, I said to him, I think we're never going to see each other again after this. And he was like, why would you say that? And the reason I said that was because like, y'all, I don't know what it is, but every time me and somebody have stopped dealing with each other, like the last time we ever have our swiggle session, it's always like the best swiggle session ever. Like, you are going to remember me forever from this swiggle session. And I could feel it. Like the way that he made me feel before, and the way that like I was so in tune with him. My body was so in tune. Like it was like I wasn't feeling none of that, but I was feeling good now. Don't let me lie to you, but I just wasn't connected in the same place. And like, he's laying here and like, and so after he's like talking about marriage and all of this shit, and I'm like kind of entertaining the conversation, but in my heart I'm knowing like, yeah, we're done, like this shit's over. And so we get into this conversation, and I asked him something along the lines of, if you feel this way about me, like if you feel so unsure about me where it causes you to kind of like not treat me the way that I feel like I should be treated, what makes you keep coming around? And we were laying in the bed, and he, like, the lights were off, and he literally said, because you let me. And he did it like, because you let me. I'm sorry, girl, what? Because you let, and like, what he didn't even realize, because he said it so like, you could tell like, I feel like God made him respond that way because there was no thought. He just responded. Like, that was what your heart felt. Your head couldn't filter it to say in no kind of way. Your heart really felt that. And I needed to hear that. I needed that because that was it. That was it. That was it. That was it. And I said, oh, excuse me? You know what I'm saying? Because after he left, bitch, I was shamed. I was shamed because it's like, girl, you been slick knowing that. Like, you been slick knowing that. Like, you really knew that this boy was kind of your op. Like, he really wasn't fucking with you like that. Like, after a certain point in the relationship, it had definitely changed. But he was coming around because you were giving him access to you. And you were giving him access to you because a part of you was so low that you felt like that's what you were worthy of. You see what I'm saying? So it was at that moment that I vowed to myself, never the fuck again. Never again. Never again. But that started me on this journey of turning inward and looking, you know, into me and trying to figure out how to fix myself, how to love on myself. So that's when I started journaling. That's when I started, you know, really getting in tune with my discernment and being able to hear God. And so once I started doing that, once I let go of that, God started opening all of these doors. I made that Hoochie Daddy video. The Hoochie Daddy video goes crazy. Now I'm building this following on social media. The following on social media is coming, and then P-Valley happens, and I make this video just genuinely excited about P-Valley. And from making this video just genuinely excited about P-Valley, y'all start fucking with my recaps. And so, like, just all of this momentum is coming from just letting go. Letting go. And as much as I would like to say it's just been a highlight reel, as you see, as I'm showing up to you, it hasn't, because life is still gonna life. You're still gonna be tested. And the devil knows that if you can operate in the fullest version of yourself, you are going to be too powerful to stop. So he's going to always come in when you pop in your big win, trying to confuse you, trying to make you feel like you're not worthy. It's always going to happen, but you got to lean in on your discernment and you got to lean in on your faith. And that's really what it is. And so from that moment to this, I just know when I'm feeling like this, let me lean in. Let me lean in. Let me listen. Let me not get too far away where I can't hear you, God. What's tea? What's going on? What's going on with me? Why am I feeling like this? You know what I mean? And just having these conversations with God, having these conversations with yourself, because you can't be real with nobody else if you can't be real with yourself. And that's a word. You understand what I'm saying? But I learned from it. I loved from it. I know what I will and won't tolerate from it. And over all of those things that I learned in the relationship, I learned how to love me and how to be good enough for myself and how to love God. And God is going to take care of the rest. All of those things happen from something that seems so ugly, but it's how you navigate through it, bestie. And that's what I'm coming to say. I done told y'all my tea. I done gave y'all a little word, but I felt so called to come and talk to y'all and tell y'all this because I don't know if, you know, I don't know what storm you're going through, but I'm sure you got something going on. I'm sure you're feeling a little confused. I'm sure you're questioning your moves, and it's okay. But snap out of that shit, bestie. We got work to do. We got work to do. We trying to be bad bitches, remember? We got, what, 3 months left before the year's over. And we trying to get our shit together so we can do this group trip. So we got to start, you know, getting out of our sad girl bag and remember who we are. So I'm just here to remind you that you are all of the things that God called you to be. Every single thing. You are worthy. You are beautiful. You are bountiful. You are paid. You are slayed. You are laid. You are all of those fucking things, girl. And we was just confused. That's all. The devil really just popped his big one, but he ain't popping for long, bitch, because what? We that girl. And that's pretty much it. So I've yapped your ear off, and thank you for talking to me. Thank you for just always being a friend and listening when your bestie is like crashing out and going crazy, because, you know, it gets hectic. I'm an Aquarius. But anyway, girl, until next time, love you. Bye.